JB here. Hope everyone's doing outstanding Monday, January 26th, 325 on this fine afternoon. Really quick rant, talk about the market. Some names I'm looking at go from there. S&P up 0.6%. If you had watched the overnight hours, or at least the open of the overnight hours, you would have thought it'd be a rough start to the week, and has been anything but the case. Markets found footing right at the open. SPY rallied over 690 and hasn't looked back. I talked about 693 being resistance, and we've been trading pretty much right at 693 since high noon. We'll see what the rest of the week brings. To me, I would rather a like a tenth or 0.2% gain today as opposed to a 0.6 or whatever. Maybe we get a bigger move. This is the week we hit 700 on the SPY. Um, if we do get some chop, hopefully it doesn't happen tomorrow, right? Those are the days, especially if weekly strikes. Don't want to see premium erosion tomorrow. Maybe hopefully just some continued upside, nothing crazy, so we don't have any pull. Yeah, that's kind of like the ideal scenario that I'm watching here today. And why do I have the wrong chart up here? If we do get weakness, I keep talking about 686, so that'll be a big spot. But I'll continue to be in the boat of nibbling calls for bounces as opposed to trying playing for puts, at least for now. If that changes, obviously you'll know. But that's kind of how I'm playing things. Yields ticking down again, so that's a good sign. And you have to think this situation in Japan, it's always gonna be out there, right? And it's makes for great stories. Makes for you know. To me, the markets need some kind of headwinds, some kind of event that keeps more folks on edge. Because if we don't have any wall of worry to climb, I think that'll be it. So hopefully that's it. All right. So earnings Wednesday's the big day. You kick off the Mag 7 names. Microsoft, Meta, I think are the two names reporting. Tesla, Apple on Thursday. Fed meeting Wednesday as well. I think that's less of an event. Maybe might be more of a media event, as maybe Fed Chair Powell tries to take some parting shots at the current administration. It's a possibility. Yeah, outside of that, still you have this morning the great circle jerk, and maybe I'll be talking about this the same way I'm talking about right now from 2 years from now, in regards to these. They call the circular financing deals. Pretty much, it's people who are in the same category, competitors, whatever you want to call it, all intermingled with the financing, orders, investments, all this stuff. It's just, it's to me, it's like a free market needs to have supply and demand forces, right? And when that gets skewed or distorted from these deals that not only they create supply and demand that might not be there, but it also it it just opens the possibility for conflicts of interest and people not making decisions based on what might be good for the business, right? I don't know. To me, that's what, like, there's so many different things. I don't want to go on a huge rant on the great circle jerk, because if I had gone bearish back in the summer when Oracle really came out with the first one to really come out with these RPOs, remaining performance obligation, all these huge, half a trillion dollars that they have left. If I got bearish then when that started to really gain traction in my head, I would be obviously, not be a good situation, right? So at some point, you would think that there's going to be an issue. Who knows when it is, what kicks it off? Maybe it never does, but just just being aware that it's a possibility, and then being prepared for when it does happen. And I keep talking about put hedges in some of these names. Some of the reason I'm looking at those names, because those will be the first ones, or one of the first ones, that'll really take it on the chin when this great circle jerk ends in a frenzy, right? The AI bubble pops, whatever you want to call it. But again, this morning, right, you had a $2 billion investment from NVDA. It's just, all right, rants are other days. So that kind of sparked markets this morning. I don't know if it's some of the reason why we're up here today. But you can make the case we could have been down up 1% today. And with everything, especially going on with the domestic concerns, with what's going on politically and all that fun stuff, crazy stuff, right? So, all right, so that's overall market, 686 on the SPY. And then, the issue here today is the small caps. And, I'd say the issue, the small caps are doing great. So they're down 0.25%, which is off the lows, but they've been chopping around here pretty much since the noon hour. Not a bad thing considering it's run. So we'll take it for what it is, and maybe that's the leg that the rest of the week, maybe that could provide a bigger leg for the markets. All right, That's overall market. Now, just quick on some individual names because names I haven't traded or weren't on the watch list. I added this morning, so just some quick clarity. First, just let me get GameStop out of the way. Right, Michael Burry of Big Short fame came out. I guess the Substack was a bullish piece on GameStop. He came out with something a couple months ago or a month ago explaining his bullish thesis on GameStop back before the meme craze. Right. I don't know if he was trying to pat himself on the back or whatever. I'm not gonna say that. I had calls on GameStop in December before the big move. $12 calls, right? I might have had January strikes too. And UPB was playing GameStop for the big short squeeze.